This is Snowfall Lewis, making my first video forecast for the Weather Outlook forums. I'm going to start tonight's video forecast with the current 12.0 run from the GFS model. Current chart on your screen is a sea level pressure chart, and as you can see we've got high pressure to the east and an approaching Atlantic low from the west, which is going to bring some interesting weather throughout the course of tomorrow afternoon, early evening across eastern parts and many northern parts of England, and affecting East Anglia and the southeast of England and central parts of southern England as we head through overnight tomorrow into the early hours of Sunday morning. If I just flick it through, as you can see here, the high pressure gets shunted out, which is with the colder air to the east, and the low pressure off the Atlantic starts to move eastwards. I'm just going to load the UK precipitation charts for you, so you can just see the band of precipitation moving in with this system. As we get to around 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, the band of precipitation will be knocking on the door of East Yorkshire, and it'll just be across western parts and northwestern parts of Yorkshire, also affecting northeastern England, Berwick-upon-Tweed area, for example, Tarn and Wear moving down southwards. Starting out initially quite patchy and light, but obviously, which is expected by the Met Office of the BBC, as it swiftly moves southeastwards, the precipitation is going to intensify somewhat. As you can see here, 9 o'clock tomorrow night, you can see the precipitation very heavy over parts of East Yorkshire and northeastern Lincolnshire and through the rest of Lincolnshire, basically right down to the East Midlands. The heaviest precipitation at the moment, by majority of models, is going for 5 to 10 centimetres of snow, with the heaviest precipitation over Yorkshire, Lincolnshire, parts of the East Midlands, and then later on, as it moves southeastwards, it's going to intensify once again as it heads across to East Anglia, as you can see here, before moving away into the near continent during 9 o'clock Sunday morning, as obviously expected by the GFS model. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to go on to the NAE model, and as you can see, it's all snow for a majority of England, and it's going to be pretty heavy judging by this. It's expected quite widely on these areas here. You can see this is where the precipitation is falling of snow. Expected 5 or 10 centimetres generally around this area here. Obviously the deeper shade shows the heavier precipitation and the more snowfall, but there's still a lot of uncertainty, because it basically comes down to nowcasting tomorrow. We've seen it many times before when all the models have had cross agreement, well, all agreement basically, and they've said, right, it's going to snow tomorrow, these are the dew points, these are the 0 degree isotherms, these are the upper temperatures, this is where the precipitation is going to be, and then we'll get to the day and either the band of precipitation breaks up or it's not as heavy and it's patchy in nature, so the upper 850s etc move across. It modifies all the colder air in the east, and there's a lot of different things that can hamper basically tomorrow's event. Now at the moment, everywhere on this side of my mouse cursor to the east, I'd say is on the right side of marginal. Well, it's not marginal at all for eastern areas as it stands. Obviously for the northwestern parts of the country, the far central parts of northern England, and as we head through into the evening across the West Midlands, there's a chance that it may turn readily back to rain or sleet, with a thaw following behind it, obviously as the precipitation moves out of the way. What there is a lot of uncertainty at the moment about is how long the precipitation will hang about for. The current NAE model shows it moving typically through around about 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, evening, shifting southeastwards after visiting Yorkshire and Lincolnshire for a couple of hours, for about 3 or 4 hours, and then it seems to want it to speed up quite a bit. Now if I look on the GFS, that is showing as well. It's showing it just wants to get out of the way as quick. I think what this is due to how the high pressure to the east of us, basically. It's not coming into play as much as it was on earlier runs, like yesterday's runs, for example. It's not putting up as much of a fight as we want it to at the moment. So what you can see is the Atlantic system basically pushes through with a band of precipitation, but then the high pressure to the east just starts to bite back. the Atlantic gets blocked once again and pressure starts to build from the east before we obviously get a low pressure possibly developing later on into the period on this current model run on the GFS, possibly bringing another easterly element, which there's a lot of debate because obviously the time frame it's showing we're just outside the 120 hour time frame. So at the moment, Fantasy Island, the term, I'd say is tomorrow afternoon because there's a lot to sort out tomorrow afternoon and that next week. So, but generally speaking, if you live in northeastern parts of England, Yorkshire, Lincolnshire, East Anglia, the southeast of England, and central parts of southern England and the East Midlands, you should typically get 5 to 6 centimetres of snowfall during the course of tomorrow evening and overnight into Sunday morning. There's still a lot of uncertainty, as I keep saying, regarding the exact basically how prolonged this event will be. Some areas, I'd say, particularly East Anglia and the South East, may just hold on to more precipitation for a longer time, but not necessarily as heavy as it is for the northeastern parts of England, particularly Yorkshire and Lincolnshire. I'm just going to show the net weather NMM model, which I'm not really supposed to show yet, I don't think, but well, let's have a look at it. As you can see on the current screen, we've got the precipitation rate on the left chart here, and the precipitation type on the right hand side of your screen. If you can't see the time frame for the chart on the right, don't worry, because it matches the one on the left. It's all for the same time frame. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it along real quickly now, and you can see obviously some precipitation trying to flirt with the Wash area, East Anglia, right down to the southeastern corner of the Kent coastline. That's going to bring a couple of centimetres of snow possible before it fizzes out and gets shunted back eastwards as the approaching low pressure system moves in from the west. So if I just keep running through, you've got 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, 11, you can start seeing the precipitation already moving across northwestern parts, northern parts of Wales, well basically all of Wales. There could be some snow for Wales and parts of northwestern England on the leading edge, but mostly light in nature until heavier stuff comes across, and then it may just turn to, you might have a period of icy rain. As I head through into 4 o'clock, then 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon into tea time, as you can see the precipitation just starts to knock on the door of East Yorkshire, and it's already across most parts of Yorkshire, through down to the West Midlands. Which is it's showing snow at the moment for the majority of the West Midlands, but as we head forward you can see the snow becomes a lot more heavier, and you can see it's showing snowfall all for Yorkshire, East Yorkshire, right through to Lincolnshire, East Midlands, but as you can see it's already starting to turn a little bit patchier in the west, and it's also giving some freezing rain, and also it's going back to rain basically, or sleet. If I carry on heading through on to 8 o'clock tomorrow night, you can see all the heavy precipitation still across the Yorkshire and Humber area, Lincolnshire, the Wash, and parts of the East Midlands, well, majority of the East Midlands. If I go through to 9 o'clock, then 10 o'clock, it just starts to exit East Yorkshire. It's still across the majority of East Midlands, and it's pushing the heaviest pulse now, which I was on about the intensification, is expected around the Wash, and to push into East Anglia. So there's basically going to be 2 periods of intensification. The initial one will be for Yorkshire and the Humber, Northern Lincolnshire area, during around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, where it could give 5 or 10 centimetres of snow quite widely. As it pushes southeastwards, it's going to intensify once again across East Anglia and near the Wash, and as you can see here, you've got heavy snow throughout for a majority of the southeast and East Anglia. Maybe a big chance of it, maybe around Portsmouth area and the southern coast, all this area here. It's likely it will be mostly a rain event. You may get a little bit of snow on the leading edge, but there's no certainty to that. Like I said, there's a lot of debate at the moment as to whether the intensity of the precipitation, the track, whether the colder air will be mixed out from the warmer uppers, the warmer air coming off the Atlantic. So there's a lot to debate still, even though we're only 24 hours away from the event. I've seemed to have blabbed on a bit on this forecast. I'm normally a lot more organised, but I've just had my desktop computer's gone a bit bit haywire, so I've had to use my laptop to do this, so I haven't got all the proper software, and I normally like write everything down and prepare it, etc. So this has just come straight out of my head. So I hope you like my first forecast. And before I go, I'm just going to show you one more thing, and it is the GFS. I just want to show you the temperatures expected at the time of the precipitation. So just let me go back through to Saturday morning. So we got 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. As you can see, widespread temperatures below minus, -4, -5, -8, -9 in rural areas across central southern England, in particular in the Midlands. As you can see, the Atlantic system starts to push in with the rain band, or what we'll call snow band, from the west. As you can see, temperatures across here from -2, -3, -1, sub figures really, sub temperatures. But for a majority of East Yorkshire, the East Midlands, right through to East Anglia and the South East, you're looking at 1 to 2 degrees around 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. If I head through on to the tea time in the early evening, you can see as the precipitation hits and turns to snow during the heaviest precipitation, you'll find that the temperature will drop considerably, and you're looking at -1, -2 for West Yorkshire and parts of East Yorkshire, and 0 to -1. But to be honest, these are just rough guidance. It's like it could be warmer, it could be a lot colder. We'll just have to see what happens tomorrow. We need to keep an eye on that radar. It'll be down to nowcasting, but like I said, this is my first forecast and I'm doing it on my laptop, so if there's been any technical difficulties or anything with this screen when you're watching on YouTube, I apologise because I ain't got all my software. So I hope you enjoyed it, but I hope you can, some of you, because I've noticed some other people are fretting about whether it's going to be rain or snow. So typically, you see my cursor here, my mouse cursor, I'd say from here right down to here is where you'll get the snow. Areas west of there will not get snow. I hope you enjoyed the forecast. Thank you very much.